And we are live, coming to you straight from the dirty South, Winston-Salem, where we are just east of where the damage hit in North Carolina. Anybody's been watching the news, everything is good where I'm at, but feel for the people west of me in Georgia, Atlanta area. I hope everything's all right with you, Carlisle. I see you already on here. Yeah, you're making some good points. Mets Braves going to be interesting tomorrow. I was hoping they wouldn't have to play, but the Mets didn't do their job. So Braves did their job. Mets did not. So is Mike O going to get prorated for the missed infomercial last week? Important questions. No, this is not an infomercial. We just talk. I can use him because I know he has the data to back it up. Atlanta was lucky with regards to the storm. Okay, that's good to hear. I was in Virginia. All I did was drive in some rain. So basically. But anyway, how are you doing, Mike, up in the Philly area?
Well, weather-wise, we've been fine. I mean, it's been a kind of a nasty few days in terms of just today was overcast with a little drizzle, and we had some rain the other day. But we haven't had the extreme weather I know other areas have had. Just kind of hanging in there and watching the conclusion of baseball's regular season. Just unbelievable to me that the season just like that is over. Obviously,
Right.
Well, technically we do have one more day because, like you mentioned, the bonus games here or the postponed games that actually matter. If they didn't matter, they obviously would have been canceled. But
so here's my: if the Mets win, the first game? Are they going to make them play the second game?
I think the Braves, then it does still matter because the Braves, if they win, then they get in. But if the Mets were to win, whoever wins the first game, if they also win the second game, then the Diamondbacks get in. So they both matter. But the thing is, whoever wins that first game is probably not going to care.
I thought
you're going to rest your pitchers.
The way I read it today was the Braves were pretty much in because they have the tiebreaker over the Diamondbacks. And the Mets, if they win one game, they have the tiebreaker as well over the Diamondbacks.
I think the Braves are either going to be the 5 seed or they're out, is the way it works out.
Oh,
so,
really?
if the Braves lose both, then they're in trouble. But no, I mean, obviously, I'm excited for that. It's always fun. We don't get as many of the weird things at the end of the year. At least we haven't in recent years because of the expanded playoffs. But that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then, the next day, Tuesday, wild cards series begin. I love watching postseason baseball, and it'll be really fun for me to watch the wild card series and not. It's amazing to see your team in the playoffs, and it's really fun to see your team in the playoffs, but it's also can be maybe not fun in the moment sometimes because you can get a little too focused on it and such. So it'll be nice to kind of take a step back and watch these games. And we're going to see some teams that have been there in the past and players that have been there in the past. And we got a lot of new faces, a lot of great stories. And it's the baseball playoffs. Literally anything can happen. To me, looking at it, any team can really reach the World Series. Obviously, there's some that would be a little more surprising than others, but I don't think the favorites are as big of favorites than maybe in the past because there are issues with the best of teams. And, some of the lesser teams that people aren't thinking about are the teams that have actually statistically played the best over the course of the last several weeks or months. So, I mean, I'm fired up for the baseball playoffs. And somehow, too, we're almost getting close to the quarter way of the NFL season. 4 weeks in, obviously the season's expanded a little bit, but like time's just flying by. It flies especially fast when you're really busy, which I've been. So just a lot going on right now. We got all this sports and the hobby and just life going on, and sometimes you just got to juggle to do a little bit of all of it.
Yeah, crazy times right now. I have been really busy. I've been sick. I had my mom issues, but running around and I had no internet before the hurricane came through. We had a devastating lightning storm come through. It took out our internet for a few days. That's why I didn't have Wednesday. Um, yeah, battery. I know Severino, I believe, is pitching the first tomorrow. Um, I don't know what they're doing for the second game. I think McGill is going to pitch the second game. But yeah, I am really, it's sucky. My dad brought up a thing that the Braves and Mets got screwed in this whole deal because they knew the storm was coming and they could have moved those games. But I was like, the logistics of that quickly, I don't know if that could have been done, even knowing it a week ahead of time. I mean, but yeah, it's just crazy time right now for whatever reason. I know people are back in school. It just seems like everybody's hectic right now.
I don't know. I feel like everything is always hectic nowadays. Like nothing. Maybe it's just getting older. Like I feel like back in the day, times were simpler, and I think there is a truth to that. But I don't know. With all the stuff going on, there's just like you said, kids are going back to school, and even if you don't have kids, like it still feels more hectic.
Right.
Like in workplaces and people or seem busy and just a little extra traffic. And we got football season overlapping with the baseball playoffs. And obviously you have all this stuff on the outside, all the political bullshit going on. And now you have all this other stuff going on overseas. Like there's this, and the weather and the storms and the hobby is always crazy.
It seems like there's more other things to be more important than talking about cards and the hobby. But this is our release, our separation from all that craziness, everything you just mentioned. We talk about friends and family. That is the three things you're not supposed to talk about in like these types of situations, so but those things affect everybody without you knowing it or not. But I hope this next couple of months slows. I guess it's like this through Christmas for a lot of people. For me, it's usually not, but here it's been hectic for me lately. And
I personally know I'm not wishing away my life. Obviously, I'm looking forward to the baseball playoffs. I'm looking forward to a lot of things, but I just know personally I'm going to be busy as all hell into like 2 weeks into January. So like there's part of me that's like, you know what? I can't wait till it's 14 degrees in mid-January and I can just sit down and relax up in the mountains for a little bit.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to get, I'm good now. A lot of my stuff's behind me. I can just live my life for a couple of weeks. So Clay, I am planning on just to let people know if you're heading to Chantilly in a couple of weeks in Northern Virginia. I'm planning on being there Saturday. That's I think Rondé Barber is going to be there signing, and Ralph Sampson. I'm definitely going to do Ralph Sampson. I say the Braves let the Mets win game 1, Mets let Braves win game 2, and the Snakes go golfing. Please transmit this plan to your ownership. Contact Carlisle. Yeah, I will be down for that, Mookie. I mean, I will have it on my phone at work, and my bosses already know that. I was in there on overtime today. They know wherever I'm at when that first game comes on, it's going to be on. They're just going to have to deal with it. I can work and have it on the radio too at the same time. So they're just going to have to. I've done it before for College World Series games and things like that. So they're cool with it. My big boss he's a Tigers fan, so he's ecstatic. He watches all the Tigers games. So
I would imagine he would be quite
yeah,
happy because
he's
holy hell, who saw that rolling through?
They were like a team to watch from my dad this year. Before the season started, which I want to remind everybody that me and him will be live tomorrow night at 7:00, talking about the playoffs, and maybe finish watching the second game. But yeah, it was like, and mine was like the Royals. I thought the Royals had a chance of getting in the playoffs. Neither one of us didn't think the Tigers were going to be more next year. But I mean, Screwball will probably win the Cy Young. So
that feels like an absolute lock.
Hinch might win the American League Manager of the Year. Should. I mean, he brought up young guys and put them out there. I mean, it kind of looked like at the end part of the year that Spencer Torkelson's figured some things out. He's still not the guy they thought he was going to be, but he's put more bats in the ball than before. So it's good to see. I just like seeing young, new players coming up and being in the limelight. And this is nice. We get to see Bobby Witt playoffs. I'm hoping Acuna gets to play for the Mets in the playoffs. It looks like he is, and they're going to let Lindor DH or move one of them to second. I'm excited. So, and that's if the Mets make it. So, what's up, Joe? Thanks for your comment yesterday on my video. Thanks to everybody that checked in with me and everything. But yeah, I talked about my goals a little bit. If you had a chance to watch yesterday, I have pretty much said no to grading with PSA, but I'm still working on my registry with getting Gary Carter's, just buying them already graded. I just think that's a better way. I am redoing my setup, so I'm hoping to have like a card room video here in the near future. So
trying to get attention with that one. That'll be like a 40,000 view video.
I don't know how many. I think I'm creeping on like 200,000 on my one from Iowa. I still get comments on that one. The last one I did here didn't do so well, but we'll see. I really like what I'm doing right now and really enjoying it. I got it to where I really enjoy my collection. I have it out where I can see it, just really where I come in. And I've talked to you and the guys before where, you're like, damn, I own these cards. These are mine. Young Scott would have never thought that I would have the collection I have now. So, and I want to have it where I can see it and enjoy it. I worked hard for it. I want to enjoy it. So you like having your cards out, Mike, or some of them? I know,
I don't display a whole lot. Most of the rooms I would use for cards are very heavy with light, so I try and protect them. I do have one little like corner shelf where I have a few, but it's not like real valuable stuff. It's cool stuff I love.
Right.
Like, a Harper card here, like an 89 Topps Mike Schmidt graded card, some stuff like that. Mm-hmm. John Kruk, I'll rotate those in, and they're kind of like intermingled with a couple figures and stuff. So it's not, so it's a nice little display, but it's not too cluttered. I do have easy access to a lot of stuff. I actually have some binders on some shelves and stuff. I don't know, maybe one day I'll do a few video clips, but I do have a lot of stuff packed up in boxes. Yeah, some of it I'm able to easily get through. Other stuff is a little buried just because you start running out of space, which is not ideal. Right. But maybe someday I'll have time to go through that stuff and kind of pull it out and reorganize it.
Yeah,
I could certainly use a reorganization of a portion of my collection
I
for sure.
started reorganizing last weekend. So
and like you, I could definitely trim a little fat. Like I love everything and I'd love to have a lot, but I certainly have some things that I know I don't need. Like I have a ton of graded stuff, and some of them are players who are great and the prices have probably gone up, but like I don't mind having a card or two, but I probably don't need like 10 different ones. Then I know I have stuff like Chris Bryant's and stuff, and it's like, do I really need like 15 graded Chris Bryant cards? Like no one else is going to want them at this point either, but you know.
Yeah. If I could give them to somebody for $5 each, I'm good with that. I hope everything's well where you're at, Orlando. I didn't see the map or everything. Like I said, Thursday I drove up to my dad's, and then I went to bed early and got up early and had to drive another hour and a half to my mom's house. So it was hectic while the craziness was going on with the hurricane. Yeah, that, I'm sitting here this week or last week going through I love Mountcastle, but I don't need every rookie card of him that I have. He's not one of my Mount Rushmore guys. He's not even one of my secondary guys. I like him. I just don't need. I've done what I've done with everybody else. I like the base rookies, and I like to have an autograph of those guys if I have one, and have a first card, Bowman first chrome if I can get a hold of one of those without breaking the bank. And that's all I really need of those guys. Unless they're, my Mount Rushmore or one of the guys that I hang on to, like a Soto or Trout maybe. I keep Mike Schmitz, Hank Aaron's. There's certain guys that I hang on to, Clemente's, if they come across me. And I'm not talking about like, of course I collect the Clemente game player days, but I'm talking about, when they are in the, Allen and Ginter or Gypsy Queen or Tops, they're one of the legends in the Tops inserts or something. So it's just that I'm just trying to bear down and let somebody else have them that are, selling to somebody else to fit their collection. And I feel like that's, to me, that's what, we as a hobby, we should be doing. And I think a lot of people do it. I know Orlando was having him on here selling some vintage to buy other vintage he'd rather have. I mean, it works at every level of this hobby. It's not just one level. I mean, we all do it. Everybody sells, or not everybody, but most people sell at some sort to get something else, or just to, you have too much. One day you look and you go, damn, I have 150 boxes of cards. What the hell am I doing? And that's kind of the point where I was at.
And then at some point you'll sell all that stuff, and 10 years from there, back, damn, why don't I have these? And then you'll go rebuy some of them again and cycle through it again.
And that's what I'm doing with like video games. I've had video game collections throughout my lifetime, and I either sold them or gave them away at a point. And now I'm kind of slowly buying those back. I mean, that's my other hobby. And that's, it's the same deal in that one. And it's funny, in that world of the hobby, there's a big fight between people that go to the shows and buy a whole table of all the good shit to resell it. It's the same stuff. It's the same fights. It's hilarious. They just call it different things. It's kind of funny. Because I think it's all ridiculous. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it at the higher price. That goes for us too. We stomp that shit out pretty quickly. So Finest came out right this week.
Finest was like a month ago.
Was it go? Oh no, not Finest. When did I see come out this week? Or
I know
last
Tier 1, a couple of those things came out.
week? Okay. Maybe I did see
I know
finance.
Topps update is in about 2 weeks. That's like
Yeah.
the only thing coming out that I have ordered. I don't honestly know how I'm going to get through it. That one I'm going to have to bring someone out of retirement to
I was getting ready to
help
say
out
top.
with. He should be
Oh,
good to be helping. He's had some things he's had to have taken care of and stuff. So
right.
he hasn't been doing too much lately, but I think he'll be helping with that. Because quite
Right.
honestly, other than opening a box on camera, I probably won't even have time to open the stuff. So he might be opening and doing some sorting for me.
Wow. That is crazy. So before we jump into tonight's topic, anybody have anything they would like to, talk about? It's been awfully quiet here for the hobby right now. I don't know if that's a good thing, bad thing. I'm glad it's not drama and bullshit going on. It's still not the greatest. We the wax issue is still there. That's not going away. Uh, I can find sealed stuff at stores. I went to about 5 Targets, and yeah, it feels like all my hobbies are slow now. I feel the same way, Sadler. I've even like a lot of people talking about you know stopping altogether again. I don't know why. It's just I don't know if it's the time of year. People getting ready for Christmas. You got to use that money somewhere else, which is understandable. But yeah, I feel the same way, Sadler. Um, but I have I still have friends. I'm going to a show here week after next, I think, and that's more just to see what's going on in the hobby when I go, just see what the feel is at the show. I know you didn't get to go to the last Philly show, but did you get to talk to anybody, Mike, about what the feeling was there at that one?
Honestly, it was a very weird Philly show. I didn't make it. I don't believe John made it. That 70s. I'd have to double check with him, but I think there was a chance he was going to be out of town. Ed was going to go. He got sick, so he didn't make
Right.
it. Ray didn't go because we didn't go. Reese didn't go because he's dealing with his own issue. So the only person I talked to a little bit was I talked to one fellow collector who went there and kind of said it was fairly busy and such. So um, I think it was a good crowd and such, but I didn't even get to watch any of the videos or look and see if there were any videos for it. Joe Forsoft Corners, I know, made it to the show, and I think he said it was fairly busy. But yeah, even the December show, like I'm gonna have to try and finagle some things
Oh,
if I want to
Mookie
try
was
and go to
there.
that one day.
Philly show was fun, well attended. Seemed like they opened a bigger room, but lots of traffic. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the last shows, like I think the shows are still gonna be really busy. It's like an aspect to that too. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, guys are trying to sell at shows because they want to do all the cash sales," and I'm sure there's something true to that. But the big guys are going to be online too. I actually think it's just as big for the buyers because there's a lot of people who, if they're buying more pricey cards, they want to get it in hand right away. They want that chance to hold it in their hand, really get a look at it, and then even on the cheap stuff, saving all that money on shipping and tax and all that, really makes sense as well. So I think the shows are still big. I just think we're getting, like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's just a very hectic and busy time in the world. There is a lot of uncertainty. I don't think the economy is at its greatest point right now. I mean, and even so, there's just a lot of people, like you mentioned, getting ready for that Christmas rush, and kids get a lot of distractions with school and that's just not the top of mind right now necessarily. Like, oh, I'm going to buy these cards. You might be looking a little bit, but you're not maybe being ultra aggressive right now. And we haven't had any real big events in the hobby that helps push forward. We've had some Tops Now things Like,
Right.
even though neither you or I are huge basketball guys or basketball collectors, there's no doubt that that triple autograph, like one-on-one Tops Now thing, was humongous for Tops and Fanatics. Like,
Right.
I'm pretty
I,
sure the sealed packs of those things are going for crazy money.
I did see they did release a football Tops Now this past week.
They have been doing some of that, but they've been, I guess they do some autos. But there was also the Otani 50-50 season where
Right.
you could get a random autograph. And
Yeah.
so that sold like hundreds of thousands of copies or something. So
Yeah. I
some things
seen.
like that, but they're not big enough to,
Right.
to really trigger things to the point where people are maybe going out and buying other stuff outside of that.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what's going on with Panini and their basketball or football stuff where they just release score or whatever. I'm so out of touch with that. I go in because I did pick up some Chrome. I have what's up, Vink. I picked up about 8 boxes of blasters in Topps Chrome for Star Wars. So I'm good. I'm set. I don't need anything else because I was not going to buy the ransom that the third party people want to sell it for. But yeah, Scott, that's a Gary. That's kind of where I'm almost at those where I'm at. Uh, Eric is not happy with Tops Now. Yeah, I just and Gary, that's probably what we've been talking about, like how busy everybody is, or the feeling of being busy. Sometimes you just want to sit down and turn on the TV and just be quiet for a little bit and not have a bunch of stuff going on, or like some of us have almost a second job at home waiting on you when you come home from your real job. Um, so that's the craziness that we bring on ourselves in this hobby. But this is one, and I'm glad Eric is here because uh, uh, yeah, I feel the same way about it. I wish they would make the poster. So 2018, they made a Tops Now poster throughout the year, and like all the bigger highlights. And I mean, it's got Otani, it's got Harper. I'm just looking at it. The Dodgers threw a no hitter. Acuna. I mean, it's Juan Soto. It's got all the big names on there. Gleyber Torres when he was something. So I wish they would have kept making that poster, but they did it only that one year. As for the hobby slowdown for me, it's the inability to find the cards I want. I just don't think stuff's getting open, man. I am curious how many guys started collecting and make YouTube videos. I, I don't know. My YouTube videos was a way extension later when I didn't even know this community was here, and it's been a really blessing for me to find this community. It's really helped me out, not with just hobby, but just life in general, friends. The scratch off is terrible. Yeah, that's true. Eric on those things when you got to buy packs. But that's fanatics trying to make money, their money back. That's the question, Eric. How many influencers collect cards and have a real collection? Because I mean, we're seeing it at it don't matter what you collect, football, baseball, vintage, prospecting. It doesn't matter. It seems like a lot of people, and like we always say it, value is a part of this. You have to know the value of things cost money, blah, blah, blah. Uh,
Yeah, especially nowadays. This isn't like 1989 where, you could buy either the factory set or the box. They all cost about the same. The values, and a pricey card was $2. I mean, this stuff is incredibly expensive now. Topps Chrome
Yeah,
Sapphire direct from Topps. What, $350 a box for 32
right.
cards?
Yep.
Insane.
And I agree. You want to make sure your stuff holds some value. You just don't want to be holding crap. But to me, collecting is more than that. I think, you know, our community somewhat lost sight of that because the value came in and it was money to be made, and there still is money to be made. It's just not as easy as it was before. Um, so people are getting discouraged. I think all these things are contributing to that. And, you know, I still have fun because, like I said, uh, yeah, logo, I saw that and they can keep it. I'll just look for my Pete Alonso when I'm ready to buy it. Uh, you know, that's my collection to somebody else. They'll probably go, man, you spent money on this stuff. But for me, it's, you know, that's what I say. Like when people we show off our cards, for me it's the enthusiasm, show the love for, you know, why you're collecting it. You know, when I start hearing that, you know, it just seems
I
like
don't
they're
know, man. You got these idiots though. You watch these dumbasses on YouTube. Like, what kind of fool takes cards and sends them into either CGC or SGC? Like, what kind of loser do you have to be to get Von Hayes cards graded?
yeah.
Like, I mean,
You showed me that it's heartbreaking. But you know, we're gonna have trolls.
for
I
those
think
who don't know, those are the comments I very often receive,
yes,
or messages I get. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? It's like, why do you care?
yeah. And I mean, it's to each his own. Like
Von
I
Hayes had a
love
better career than a lot of the
people that haven't had
Bowman
one.
first guys that people are getting
Yeah,
graded.
right. And I mean, you know, that's the thing is like I'll always say it. I said it yesterday. When somebody goes, the hobby's dying, it's a personal thing. It's like your hobby's dying. For whatever reason, the hobby to you is dying. If it's sales, if it's cards you're looking for, if it's just not fun anymore, it's those things. But when it's other people, you know, as a whole, I that's I don't think, and it never will. You know, we've talked at Carlos on, we've talked about it. You know, people when it was supposed to be dead or the junk were at, people were still at the shows where there were shows. It's just, you know, the money kind of went away. Uh, if you're the president of the hobby, I'm in trouble because you will ban all hockey cards and I'll only recognize baseball. No, that's not true at all. I've collected my whole life, but didn't know YouTube card community was a thing until 2020. That Zach, I'm with you. I think I found it. I'm trying to think. Probably 2018 for me, late 18. For me, Von Hayes, Mr. Five for One, F the Haters, Sanderson or what's up, Eric? Oh, that's that. Yeah. And we're such a small community on YouTube and in the community itself. When we go to shows, it's, you know, how many people, you know, don't watch YouTube. You know, they just collect. Uh, you know, Mike, Mike, you said it. Not everybody's as crazy as we are. You
No,
know,
normal people collect cards, like do it on occasion. They might go to Target to buy
right.
bread and, you know, a couple other things, and then they go, oh, you know, I'll swing by and maybe get a couple packs, or maybe they'll look forward to a show. I don't think your typical average collector probably, you know, spends half their day every day browsing eBay listings and watching YouTube videos and listening to podcasts and chatting in group chats about it. I think it's truly a hobby. I think we have a sickness, and I think we're enjoying the fact that we're nuts with this
Right.
because we love it so much. But I don't think your average person would think we're sane.
Yeah, I don't know how many people in their dining room have the wall that's behind me.
No, not. It's not typical behavior.
Yeah. So Von Hayes or Julio Franco, who won that trade, Mike? Mookie wants to know.
I mean, they both had, Julio Franco played a little longer for sure. Probably had a few more All-Star appearances, but both good players that are kind of forgotten about in the hobby.
Yeah, Eric, this would be, I mean, you're dead on. I would say that 98%. And I don't know. And here's the thing. I think a lot more of them probably watch, but they don't watch the same channels we're watching. When I was downstairs, a lot of people that were on the stage, I didn't know who they were. I didn't. My ignorance was bliss downstairs at that last show. I didn't know any of those people. But
Well,
a lot
something
of
like Instagram's far more popular at this point than YouTube.
I had no clue. So
I just can't get into Instagram. I'll go on there here and there, but I rather listen to the stories that take 20, 30 minutes to get out than, see something in 2 seconds and move on.
Right. We are here because we are not all there. Yeah, that's true, Stooks. Yeah, sometimes I feel the same way, and I try to for a little bit, and then I fall away from it. You know, I I just don't know how I don't know how people use it to their advantage other than just showing off some cards or life or whatever. I mean, on mine you'll see everything from, I don't know, where I'm at a game or my briskets I cooked or ribs on my smoker to cards. You'll see a little bit of everything on my Instagram page. So because it's also connected to my Facebook page, so you see a little bit of everything. So let's get to the topic, and I'm sure let's have some fun with this. So I put on there, if I was president, and you'll see in the presidential talks all the time, what would be your first 90 days or whatever. Day one, what would you do? Blah blah blah. And I think the only thing that I would do was, if you criticize somebody else for how they collect, there should be some punishment of some type.
Life in prison.
Yeah. Like, we should be enjoying how each other, the uniqueness. It'd be kind of boring if we all did the same. It'd be kind of boring, Mike, if you didn't do Von Hates, or me doing my UVA players that nobody's heard of, that you go, he must be from UVA or Virginia for Scott to get this graded. That's the fun.
That was one of the more shocking moments of my life when I got a graded order. And I'm like, why in the hell is this guy getting an Adam Hazley card graded? I'm like, wait, I can figure this out.
Right. So, that to me is like one of the biggest, and you touched on it a minute ago, is one of the biggest things that's really came, especially during COVID. And I know it's been there. The first time somebody showed a card on YouTube, somebody left a message, why in the hell are you collecting that? So it's not new. I'm not trying to say this just started. It just seems like it got worse, and people are just more hateful. Like they don't even like the skies that they're trying to put you down. They just come right out and pretty much say it. And I just find that very shameful. I don't care what you're collecting, as long as you are happy doing it yourself. You're the one that's got to live with it. I like I said, I look for the people that really enjoy what the hobby they're doing, and I tend to be attracted to that type of video, and those type of what they're doing. I don't go to, I don't pull up what's the top 5 most and highest cards for 1987. I don't care. That doesn't mean anything to me. That's the very, to me, that has no backbone to it. It has no, it doesn't tell me anything. And that's fine if that's what you're looking for to how you collect in a business way. But here I am probably criticizing in some people's mind, but or sports card investor. You know what I did at very beginning when before he had 1,000 uh, subscribers, and then he would never answer my questions. He would only answer certain people because that was all weird to me, and I could talk about that on any other given day. Uh, but how that all started because uh, I used to work graveyard, very quiet nights. I used to watch a lot of videos, and I went down a rabbit hole on that one. Uh, yeah, I think it is Gary. Because if you would have saw it, um, let's see, not enough room in my hobby for another present. I am the only present I need. That's exactly right, Gary. Yeah, you should have to open a box of 91 Fleer or 90 Don Ross, whatever.
Yeah, I love that 90 Donruss.
Oh, do you? Who's in that? Is there even a rookie in that season?
Isn't Sosa have a rookie and Juan Gonzalez? No, I remember getting a Von Hayes. This is why I get some Von Hayes cards graded. I do remember getting a 1990 Donruss Von Hayes card in a Christmas stocking back in the day. So
that's true, Eric. Yeah, I do have a Gary Carter 90 Donruss graded, sort of registry. So you got to do what you got to do. Mike, what would you do? What would be one of the things you would do?
Well, obviously it's not a likely scenario, but it would be nice to ban the exclusive contracts so we would get a little more diversity of products and even players. If you go back and we're talking about some of these junk wax products, even really more so beyond that, like when you look, this is like just looking at it as a Phillies collector, this is how I notice it, but there are so many players in certain years, like 94, 95, 96, 97, where like some of Topps base sets were a little smaller those years. It wasn't 700 card sets. It was some 350, 400, 500 card sets. So there were a lot of players that played for the Phillies that had, they were there for a couple years, maybe accomplished a few things, but like they didn't ever have cards in Topps. All their cards were in Upper Deck products or like Donruss products. So like not only did you get different designs, the competition pushed forward different parallels and inserts and stuff like that, but we had a more diverse group of players for whatever reason. So I do miss aspects of that. So I mean that would be great, but obviously it's never going to happen. And then I'd like to have that ability to appoint Eric to some sort of role where he could open some investigations, get some answers to some of the burning questions that have been killing him for years. With some of his Topps Q&A things, find a way to get these guys in a room and make sure the answers, the questions get answered for once, like the Allen and Ginter Wood Minis and, some of these other things that haven't been properly answered. Yeah, we'd have to give him a shot, get it done.
There you go. He likes that too. I would like to add, Mike, and I'm keeping hope out that one day these. I know, like on their MLB's list of things, maybe baseball cards is not very high on their list of what they care about. But you have to look at that monopolies are not good for them because you want somebody that's representing you in a product to put out the best product. And when there's competition, that's when you get the best product. So by giving only one person your whole 100% doesn't make the best product. It makes a lazy product most of the time.
Also, as a president of the hobby, I would make sure to find and fire whoever made the checklist for Topps Update this year. There's a bunch of rookies. There's a lot of the top rookies have cards. That's all great. But when I flowed through that list, I rolled through the 350 card list and counted the fact that there's only 4 base Phillies cards in that set. That kind of pissed me off. As a Phillies collector, as someone who likes to build those base sets, 350 cards, 30 teams. Every team on average should have anywhere between 10 and 13 cards. They had 4. We're not talking about a team like the Marlins where like literally and I'm not even like trying to be a jackass. Like nobody collects Marlins cards. Like
Right.
they just don't. You could easily get away with making 3 cards in series 1, 2, and update for the Marlins, and I don't think you'd get a single complaint. But
Right.
I mean, the Phillies have been one of the more popular teams in the last few years, and they've been in the postseason. And for the majority of this season, now they ended up falling off a little bit, but they did have one of the best records in baseball. 4 cards, and one of the cards is a guy who spent 1 day on the active roster this year and didn't get into a game. He was on the 40-man roster a little bit.
Right.
What is that
Yeah.
bullshit? I know no one else in the chat cares about that, and your typical person buying update doesn't care about those base cards, but I was like, 4 cards?
I can tell you're fired up.
Horrible. Oh, it pissed me off.
Did you look at the rest of the list to see if they're in inserts or anything?
There are plenty of inserts and his autographs and all that stuff, but
Right.
like the base set. But like even as someone who has done a lot with the flagship sets in terms of selling inserts and selling singles, selling team sets, especially for update, is like there's a lot of people, they're not going to go buy a case of it or a couple boxes, and they're not going to be able to buy factory team sets, and it's not a factory set. People want those team sets, and I can tell you from experience, the Phillies are absolutely one of the top selling team sets, and when it's a 4-card team set, that hurts.
Right.
Because there's like half the teams in baseball sell very well, and then you have some that just like nobody's going to buy a White Sox team set. Maybe Gary wants one for his collection, but they're not going to sell because they've had such a bad year. And teams like the Marlins and Rays, they don't have a market. So
right. I just want my Mets.
yeah, well, I didn't count the Mets, but I can tell you they probably have more than 4 cards.
I know they should have a couple of rookies on there, so we'll see. I'm excited to see. They've had a rookie in there in the tops thing for the whole year that isn't even playing. He's been out when he played winter ball, so he'll be there. Hopefully, he'll be there next year. Record-breaking year. Yeah. So, yeah, those are just basic things. I really would think, I would hope one day that they these major leaguers, because a lot of these cards are like introductory ways for young people to get into sports. I have a friend at work. I bought his son a baseball game for the Switch and a pack of cards. His son loves baseball. He threw out the opening pitch one day for the Pirates minor league team here. So anything it can help. And I just told him, I go, his grades are bad. Take stuff away from him. That's my only caveat when I give stuff for kids. It's like they got to do well in school. Ronnie is out. Only hope. Yeah.
Carlisle brings up photoshopping cards. Yeah, there's some bad photoshopped cards from the year 2000 and stuff. I remember, again, I'm going to reference Phillies stuff because that's what stands out. But there's like a Tom Gordon Phillies card from, he was probably like 06. It's so bad looking. I get it. That's, close to 20 years ago. Look up the Jock Peterson card from this year's flagship. I think it's Series 2. It's so bad looking. I'm like, who did this? How can you release this in like an actual real product? I guess he's photoshopped into a Diamondbacks uniform. I forget, but it's so bad.
I do. I think they got a shot. They got a couple of good pitchers, man, and you gotta let in the middle of that lineup. If you can pitch around the big dog, I think you have a shot. I swear that Bryce Harper's 2019 flagship card is Photoshop. Probably is because it's that the year he came up and nobody was thinking he was going to come up and all that.
Well, 2019, that was his first Phillies card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then it probably was. Oh, that's right. My years are.
He definitely has there's like a few variations because he has like a different card in the factory team set that was sold at the stores. Like that one's 100% Photoshop. That one.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, the photo. If they're done poorly, it's really noticeable, and if they're done good, you still
Yeah,
know.
Eric, I just pulled it up. I don't think that Citizens Bank Park behind them. So yeah, I think you're spot on with that.
There you have it. So, anybody have ideas of what they would do? The other thing I would do is to make the prices more reasonable. Uh, Fanatic says every right to set their prices now if they go out into the wild, at least at the big boy shops, the big 3 or 4 that's online. Um, you know, if they sell them no matter reasonable price, where they could set the price, you can't go over this. I mean, Nike does it. I sold shoes forever. Um, I also would think that would happen. Uh, I would make Upper Deck make baseball cards. They do such a. I still think they make a great hockey card set. The Tin Cup came out not too long ago. I wanted to speak in case Eric Sanderson to Orr was still on here because he thinks all I do is talk baseball. But hockey's right around the corner, so we have that for you hockey fans out there. I know Jeff's in here, so the guy may win the Cy Young, and they can't find a picture of him for an entire season. Chris Sale's card has a simulated Braves uniform, and they even swapped out the mounded background. Fanatic says their price is fine because the product is selling. I think there's room to lower the price. You get my vote, Scott. That's selling because the breakers are buying it. That to me is the breakers buy so much product that skews who is buying it, who is it getting to, and the breakers always have the big breakers have first choice because they buy so much of it. Believe I've talked to so many store owners, Stooks. How many store owners can't even get product? They got to show that they have a brick and mortar and like they do all this stuff and a certain card setup, but you can sit there and screw people over online by hiding cards and doing crazy shit and behind the scenes, and you can get as much as you want. And that to me is you're not getting into the people's hands that drive this because yes, getting breaks and all that it can be economical. It can be more economical if it comes back down. But once that the buying and flipping fast stuff slows down, which I think it is, some of that might have to slow down a little bit because they're also forcing them to buy the crap that doesn't sell. So let's see. Yeah, Hodges, I'll have to check that out, brother. Yeah, y'all check Hodges out. If y'all want anybody promote your channel all you want over here, I don't care. But the breakers are getting product correct. Yeah, they are. They're getting the bulk of it. Fan breaking it with lower demand and lower prices. No one's buying 500 tops chrome. It's breakers. By the way, that Jackson Wolf car, they put him in the patch 21. Ooh, is that like for Clemente Day? But the breakers are getting discounted product is where I was trying to go. They are getting discounted product. They're getting it at whatever they're getting it at, and then most of them now uh are starting to sell it, player breaks instead of team breaks for the larger, even the smaller quantity breaks, 100 card sets. And they're just, I mean, if it's 100 players in a set and you're getting for the rookies, hundreds of dollars, even like I was in one for Pete Alonso. It went up, and I just was watching it. It went up to $500. I'm like, does Pete Alonso come to your house? What's going on here? Why are these breaks going up so high? I don't care if you get an auto. Pete Alonso's auto is not even going for over $100 anymore. So unless you're hitting a 101. And if you're gambling on 101s, it's like what Eric said before, you might as well buy a scratch off ticket. I don't, I don't get it. What's up, Don? Nice to see you, brother. Haven't heard from you. Hope your son is doing well down here, enjoying the South. So, that to me with the breakers, I've talked about breakers. That was one of my first kind of rant videos, was about breaking, and how they'd see, and now they don't even hide it. They got Breakers Delights and everything now, including Star Wars Topps Chrome. It's just, they don't even hide the fact that that Topps don't even hide it anymore, that they got a special box for the breakers. I mean, they're just like, yeah, here it is. And, you can buy it at this crazy price. So, that's, to me, the breaking world. I don't know what to do about that, because I've said it before. I thought that breakers is what drove up the prices, because they are getting so much quantity that the little bit of quantity that gets to the stores sell out so fast. So that drives up the want of people to buy this stuff. And then kind of find out that the people that are selling the product to the stores were holding product back and was jacking the prices up on these stores so they can make a bunch of money. That it's just this big game going on with this, and we're the ones that pay for it. That's why I don't open wax anymore. I like to. It's fun, but I just, breakers to spy products like Stadium Club, but it still goes up in price. Yeah, because Stadium Clubs doesn't have the big hits and all that stuff. And even though a lot of collectors like Stadium Club, it's probably the best pictures on cards. A little flash, a lot of substance on it. A lot of, I'm sure, like, the photographers really like that set because it really sells their art, that art form. That's a great point, Matt. Great point. And I don't have anything against breakers per se. I just feel like they get a special, pass because they buy so much product. And I also heard a lot of product is going overseas as well. When I talked to a few, when I had a bunch of, in the Midwest, I had shop owners that I could talk to anytime I wanted to. I have one here, kind of haven't been talking to him in a while, but I know people, and like some of these high price cars that we're seeing getting auctioned. That's the thought too, that they're going overseas as well. Only product I still buy boxes of. I just looked at the Wolf card. He's wearing 21, but yeah, I didn't know that either. That's messed up. Only yeah. I love Stadium Club.
One of many products that hasn't been officially announced yet for this year that I'm sure will be showing up in the coming weeks or months.
That was the one product that when they announced it as Chrome, I was like, do we need another Chromium? I mean, he already got it as an insert. It's nice. And then when they did it, I was like, it looks good. It looks good. You can't go wrong with the Chromium. But, I do like that. Well, they killed SC Club in 2023 as they're not making it anymore. Oh, the Chrome. Okay. Yeah. Well, and I don't, and again, Eric, I mean, do we need everything Chrome? That's, Fred Lynn showed signing Stadium Club cards in May. Okay. Was that on tops.com or their tops like website or whatever? I get pictures all the time from them. I
Sometimes
get
these guys, like I know Dale Murphy a few times has showed off, like I guess on Twitter
yeah,
or
Murphy just
something.
showed off
He'll
something too.
show
Not
off
the
some
other
stuff
day.
he
Yeah,
signs. So
his Twitter feed. Oh, okay.
his X
Yeah,
feed, whatever it's called nowadays.
Twitix.
I
I'll
still
still
just
buy
call
a
it
discount
Twitter.
box at Walmart for fun. Yeah, I miss Gypsy Queen. Yeah, and Stooks. I've been seeing more and more discounted stuff at Walmart. I have one Walmart that doesn't hardly sell any cards. I got another Walmart that sells a ton of them. I don't understand that. What do you consider best set collector product? I would I would probably say Heritage. Heritage was always billed as like the set collector product, but um, and and it was a being a master set where you got all the different uh, stuff and all that. But I would say still number one is going to be the flagship. Flagship. More people probably collect that set or just buy it at the end of the year. That is out now on shelves. This year's sets. I saw it the other day at $60. I think the Walmart one had the image variations in it. Is what I saw for 4 or 5 of the rookies. Um, I know, like we'll be seeing all kinds of that. Flagship is the best. Yeah, and they know that, and they're selling it in their other products. Like that. I said that they started calling. They have a flagship Star Wars series now, and that's what the Chromium is coming off of. Now, in the Chromium, they started making debut cards, not rookie cards, but debut cards for that. So Fanatics is knowing what words, verbiage, trigger words, all that stuff to get people to buy product. They know what they're doing. Um, they know how to sell, and I'm still waiting. Keep waiting. I'm not ecstatic about what's going on, but a lot of that is self-induced in the community, right? We people just keep buying the stuff at those high prices, keep buying in the breaks at high prices, and keep doing it. So they're why things should change. Why would they change? Last year's top set was marked at 34. Oh, okay. I remember waiting every year till Christmas, and after Christmas they would be marked down every year. Um, yeah, that didn't happen this year. Hell, even Upper Deck used the word chromium in a tweet the other day. Shit. I think the 582 Montgomery complete sets are really nice this year. Plus, they have the 4 rookies in it. Okay.
Yeah, they did a way better job. The past couple years, it's just been a little stamp. It's kind of like who cares. This year, it's like a whole foil thing. They're pretty sharp looking.
Oh, the whole set is foil?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it like shines the Montgomery Club stuff in the background.
Cool.
I listed about 700 of them on eBay a few nights ago. So
I didn't see
they've
the
been,
Pete Alonso one come across my desktop, so I guess I missed that one.
yeah, it might have ended up on the eBay store, but I they've been pretty popular so far. I've sold quite a few of them. Player collectors, team collectors, just trying to pick up some of their favorite ones.
Mm-hmm. Like the Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
So, anywho, anything else anybody wants to add? Great. I Yeah, relatively cheap. Stadium Club slowly adding more Chrome this year since the standalone Chrome is gone. Okay. Pretty cheap for a complete set as well. Yeah. Well, you got to buy into the club. I can't get into the club. They send me a notice for everything except buying into the club. And I was not going to pay what they were asking for people to pay this past year. That wouldn't have done it. I've been
Yeah, the
working.
full sets of people have been listing the full sets at pretty reasonable prices, though.
Yeah, Barry. So 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, I got a coupon from PSA for $10 off a card up to $100 off. So basically 10 cards. But it would have put me down to $15 a card plus paying $25 return shipment. And so you got to add that into it. It still would have been, going on $20 a card or whatever. I was just like, that's no. SGC is way cheaper. Um, if I want to sell it, I still get value out of it. Uh, I see, Matt. I love the Topps black and white. That's one of my favorite sets ever. I'm a sucker for black and white pictures. I don't know why. I just like it. Yeah, I'm in the registry. I try to buy and add stuff, but yeah, I'd rather take that money and I could put it. I could send 10 cards to SGC and still have money left over to send Star Wars cards to CGC or whatever non-sport. That's kind of what I'm doing. I've talked about it before, sending non-sport to CGC and sending my sports stuff to SGC in case I want to sell it. CGC holds value for non-sport and SGC has value for sports. So, yeah, it does. It does, but I still like it. I like the black and white stadium clubs when I see when they come out. I don't know if they do those anymore, but they used to have a variant of black and white, and that might be why they do the other one. Uh, I that type of stuff I really like. It's just not easy to get a hold of those cards outside of maybe the one or two or a team that you're looking for. I wouldn't know how to go about. That would take a while to complete a set on that. So, Mike, you got anything you want to add, or anybody else? I think we're kind of hitting.
I don't know. I think you touched on the majority of things, most of the topics. Like, I mean, hobby wise, we're still waiting on so many products. We already mentioned earlier that baseball season has just. We're at the point where there's technically 1 day left in the regular season, and yet I question as to whether half the products that will be released for 2024 have been released by Topps. There's so many still to come.
Right.
For sure, Stadium Club, Allen and Ginter's coming. Topps update. Obviously, tons of high-end products. Chrome updates. All sorts of stuff. Who knows if we're getting archives and things. So they still haven't. I think they could do a better job of spreading stuff out and getting things, getting these different products out to us. It'd be nice to get a bulk of them during the season while there's excitement for a higher percentage of players in baseball.
Right.
I mean, yes, there's going to be guys who make their mark in the postseason here. And yes, some guys have had incredible years, but a little bit frustrating that that's the way it is. But that's the way it's been for the last several years. So that's just probably the way it's going to be for a little while. I'm sure we'll be getting 2024 products.
Hey, Gary, I
once
could
the
probably answer
calendar
this.
rolls over.
No. But I'll let Mike answer it.
I would say it's highly unlikely. I think I still have access to their PSA DNA stuff, but it's only like a couple bucks off. They've sent me coupons to use up to $100 off an order, and I haven't bothered to do it.
I just don't see where if I don't like a restaurant and they send me a coupon, is that going to make me still want to go to that restaurant? Especially if they got shitty service, right? They'll take your food back here and piss on it. I'm not going to go back there. And that's the way I feel like I'm getting at PSA. I don't feel like, not directly having great. I have never had a problem with PSA directly, but I feel like for my type of collecting, which I feel like that's what they built their backbone on with the registry, they just shit on. And thinking that everybody's doing high end cards and flipping and all this other stuff, and where the graded card brings value to a lower card, you know, or makes, you know, for a set registry, or, you know, we just like graded cards. I feel like, you know, PSA is just peed on me and told me it was raining. So that's why it's the best to let others submit and buy their tiers. Yeah, I I I told you, Eric, a couple years ago, you ought to make that T-shirt. Yeah, battery. I feel the same way, but you know, they got a bunch of pictures that they took all at one time, and that's the pictures they're going to use. They're not going to pay the photographer. Yeah, and you know what, battery? I wouldn't be as mad if the price was right and they were slow as well, right? I don't really. If you're upfront about how long it's going to take, I don't really. That doesn't bother me, right? It's when you tell me, oh, it's going to be 30 days and it's 90 days, or you tell me it's going to be 3 months and it's a year and, you know, 13 months. That's where I have issues, you know, with that. And I'm paying for a service that you told me was going to be X, Y, and Z. And all they got to do is say, oh, well, it's an estimation. It's not, you know, it's not a contract or whatever. And I just find that to be, and don't get me wrong, PSA is not the only one that does that. So
The CGC, I have an order that I sent to them about 40 days ago. They still haven't logged it. I don't know what they're doing.
yeah, I have one at CGC that they haven't logged yet either. And I was hoping, I know it got down there way before all the storms. I got a 30 card order at CGC. Yep, still haven't logged it yet. And the shitty thing is, it's like, oh, we're down to 25 days or whatever, but it doesn't start until it's logged. So it doesn't that's bullshit number. Scott, are you going live with Dad tomorrow? Yes, I am, Jeff. So again, just another reminder, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Me and my dad will be going on. Please stop by. You know, talk to Pop. Dad is having such a good time with this. We were going to do it today, but since they pushed everything back to Monday, we were like, hey, let's go live and talk about it. Mike said something about this last year to me, so Mike O has a little bit something to do with this one. So, and it will not be about cards. So don't come there and ask my dad what's the best. He's just going to tell you.
I'm going to ask him who the best investment is in 2024 Bowman Chrome.
He's going to tell you to kick rocks because he won't have it. Once you say Bowman Chrome, he's just not going to. He'll just tell you to buy some guy that's doing well. Any SGC orders out? Yeah, Gary, I think would you say 40 days ago you got one in there?
Well, that's CGC. SGC, I think I'm clear on now. I did a reveal, a week or two ago. I have not sent anything out. I am waiting for cards from a couple people. I got cards from one person. They're on this video. And I haven't looked at my own stuff, but I'll throw stuff together.
Was it my I hope you got mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a package from you. I didn't open it. I'm assuming it's cards to get graded. I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be a letter that says this is my last show on the channel. I have no idea. I didn't open
that. That Mickey Cochran that I bought from you, I wanted that sent in too. You didn't send that to me, did you?
No, it's stacked up. Do you get your package, Joe?
I don't know. I haven't been to the post office, man.
Well, then you should know because you don't have it in hand. No, I packaged your shit up, and then I went, oh, I forgot that Big League Chew again. I'm like, if I don't include that Big League Chew, he's going to come up here and kick my ass. I cut the box open and threw some in. So, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you're happy.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I'm glad I have friends. It's fun. We have fun, guys. That's what this hobby's all about. Any hobby. If you're not having fun doing your hobby, stop it. Find another hobby. If it becomes a work, stop. But hey,
There
I'm
are a lot
glad.
of people that I'm kind of like, why are you still involved in the hobby? And I haven't seen a lot of it lately. To be honest, I've been so busy. It's been harder than usual to keep up with it. But when you get all the people who are like, I'm quitting the hobby. Oh, I'm so stressed out about that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Have some
Right,
fun
right.
with it.
Yeah, I just you know, we done it. COVID taught most of us how to swerve. I mean, Eric has talked about it for years on his channel. I'm going to go right when everybody else is going left. And I think COVID did teach us a lot of people that were in this hobby before. When we saw the prices going up, we're not participating in that bullshit. We're going to go in the other direction. And I think that was a learning for a lot of us. And we continue just to have fun with it. And some people struggle when it came back to reality, and it made it tougher when the boxes stayed high and you couldn't buy a box and flip it, get it graded for $9 and flip it for a profit. Things got tough. So people took off on that one. But anyway, for the record, this hobby has never stressed me out once. That Gary should, and if it did, you know, when I saw the prices start going up and I couldn't buy stuff at the store during COVID, I did get emotional because it felt like somebody's taking the thing that I loved away from me. And then I just said, no, they're not. I just got to do it differently. And I do it differently. And this is part of my hobby, doing this, hanging out with everybody on Sunday night, and I appreciate it. LGM, let's go Mets. Um, Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, me and my pop. Uh, please come by, be a part of the show, have your questions.
Pop and Scott breakdown
That's
2024
right.
Bowman Chrome baseball, baby.
That's right. Yeah, and we'll talk baseball and anything else. I can tell you, my dad will talk about whatever my dad wants to talk about. Um, and he will talk about other things. He loves football. He loves Caitlin Clark. Him and his wife watch everything WNBA right now.
He's a Commanders fan, right?
Yeah, he's a Commanders
Is
fan.
he liking that? I feel like people are excited that they might actually have a real quarterback for once.
He is loving the quarterback. He just hopes he doesn't get killed because he's a little on the slider side, size. Um, he's been loving the quarterback. I think that he went off again today. So I'm sure he's very happy about the outcome of that. Before the season started, I told him, I was like, I feel like Washington's going to win that division because I think all the teams in that division, Eagles have some internal turmoil going on there. Dallas didn't do anything to get any better, and I think Washington did a lot to get better. So, and also I think they got the right quarterback. So, but even though the Bears quarterback's doing pretty well too. So, and I do need to get our boy Brad on and talk some football. Maybe I'll have Eric on for some hockey, and Joe for some hockey talk when that comes around. And maybe Carlos come on. I still want to bend Ed's ear on non-sport. Um,
Yeah, well, he's off tonight, but he's at another concert.
well, that's what he likes to do. I mean, I can't fault the guy for that. I wanted to go to a concert this week, but I'm not going to go during the week when I got work. So there's a Violent Films concert this week. I was like, ooh. But that's just I'm adulting now. So 20 years ago, I'd have been to a Violent Films concert. So with that, I hope everybody's doing all right. Uh, if you can help out people in need. And until next time, like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for choosing me on this Sunday night. And Thank you, Mike, for coming by. And until next time, see ya.
Peace.